And welcome back to the Midday Show. It's Friday. Hopefully that you can hear us all right. And today is You Pick the Topic Day. And the first topic that we always start with before we get going, Mark, how are you feeling today?
Well, I'm feeling delayed because, you got like stuff going on and you're like, well, I can't get there till, whatever. So I've been sitting here waiting since noon.
Yeah, well, I appreciate your patience. Clearly, you've handled it well. But you personally, like holiday weekend coming up, like how do you feel?
I'm good.
Yeah,
Right. It's been. I really am happy about the rain that we just got because we really needed rain. And in my world, in my mental like summer structure, the 4th of July is kind of like a bucket of cold water ish, like because you get into June and you've got all summer. And then all of a sudden, it's like the 4th of July, and you're like, some of these things we wanted to get done, we got to start getting them on the schedule. Right. Or we're going to wake up and it's going to be August, and then it's going to be over. So
yes.
This is it's kind of like nothing really mattered up till the 4th of July because you had all summer in front of you. But once that's in your rear view, now you got to start chopping things off your to-do list.
I am always amazed at how fast June goes by.
Yes.
Always. In my opinion, June may be the fastest one. And I know it can't possibly be faster than February. But like if you just want to talk about you blink and it's over, June is ridiculous.
June is faster than February. I agree with you 100%.
Yep, it is. It's crazy. So the one thing that I said to you and wanted to kick off with, 4th of July weekend, everybody enjoy the fireworks, even though Mark and I probably will not. Where does the 4th of July, and I'm putting you on the spot here, like you won't have like a complete rankings list. What's your favorite holiday and where does the 4th of July fall on like your list, if you had to guess?
That's the second question is a good question. I've always loved when obviously people get, Christmas and, whatever, the Christmas, New Year's, whatever. I love Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is probably, if I had to pick one, especially as I've gotten older, because you get the longer weekend. Obviously, the Thanksgiving Day, there's nothing like eating on Thanksgiving Day.
Right.
I'm a Dallas Cowboy fan. They always play. A lot of times they lose, but they always play. And you get people that come home that it's the first time they've been home in months or a long time, depending on when Christmas falls and depending on what's going on. But it seems like over Thanksgiving, you see people that you haven't seen in maybe since last Thanksgiving. So that would probably be my favorite.
That's a good call.
Where does the 4th of July rank for you?
No one's anti 4th of July, right? Because you're celebrating America and Independence Day and all of those things. However, if you're just talking about like from an enjoyment level, I think the 4th of July may be the most overrated holiday. It's usually really hot. It's usually really sticky. It's usually at the point in the year where like you don't really have your tan going yet. It's the weekend the most people get burnt in America. You can't tell me otherwise. So like you're hot, you're sweaty, you're getting burnt. And here's the other thing too, like I like a good hot dog like anybody else or a good burger on the grill like anybody else, but it's not like Thanksgiving or Christmas where it's like it's a feast per se. So I'm not a fireworks person, as you and I already talked about. I think it's the most overrated holiday.
Well, I would agree. When you look at the summer holidays, Memorial Day, Labor Day seem to have much more, I don't want to say bounce to it. And because the 4th of July lands on the 4th,
yes,
like Christmas lands on the 25th. So it could be on a Tuesday, it could be on a Wednesday, it could be on, sometimes it makes a really long weekend depending on, this one, it falls on a Sunday. So I assume places are getting Monday off, like the federal places are getting Monday. But yeah, it is. I'm with you. Because you and I don't love fireworks.
Yes. And
it seems like fireworks are this whole buildup. Oh, are you guys going? And are you guys going? And my answer is no, I'm not going. And then, so I'm kind of, the other thing about, there's great, and I agree with you about the it's not a feast because it's always kind of like a picnic thing.
Yes.
But because you're right, because it's hotter than Labor Day and Memorial Day, these feast things, the food turns food poisoning shows up quicker during the 4th of July than any other holiday.
Yeah.
So there's stuff that is sitting out that if it's sat out, you might want to just pass on that.
Yeah, I really hadn't thought about that until you said it. So like if you're going through and ranking them, like it's behind, for me personally, it's behind Thanksgiving, it's behind Christmas, it's probably behind Memorial Day, it's probably behind Labor Day. So now you're talking about like, is it top 5? Is it knocking on the door? I'm not a huge Halloween person, if you consider that a holiday. I'm not a huge Valentine's Day person. I'm trying to think of like what some of the other ones are. So like, I don't know if it's top 5. Like, I think for some people, like this is a weekend. Like this is like a put it on their calendar, check mark weekend. And for me, I think it's a little overrated.
Well, I think the aspect of it, and you're just talking about you're not talking about historical relevance, because obviously historical relevance
from a historical relevance,
it's
completely
real high.
Like if the 4th of July was the like, let's say it was the 20th of April, like pretty good holiday. Like all of a sudden things start to shift. Like spring's coming out and you're excited to be outside and things are happening. But I don't know. Like I forgot about Easter. Like Easter, I don't know where Easter falls for me. So anyway, I'm just saying the circumstances of the 4th of July, you have in your head it's this great weekend. And most of the time, I don't think it lives up to the hype.
Well, I agree with that. The thing it has going for it is because of the heat, this is the one that you've got pools, you've got river lots, you've got, bikinis, there is that image of the 4th of July that Labor Day and Memorial Day, especially around here, a lot of times it's not warm enough for that.
That's the way you put that is great. The image is better usually than the result.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
The picture that is painted for the 4th of July is typically better than what actually takes place.
It is a very interesting topic because there are people I know, I'm sure there's people that Halloween is their favorite holiday.
Yeah,
and if people had to rank for each individual person, depending on people's religious bent, Christmas and Easter may rank just because of the personal.
Sure.
So that is a good question. If you took like the top 8 or 10, we could throw in St. Patrick's Day as one of them.
Yes.
You take the top 8 or 10, which ones, the people who are of military service, probably Memorial Day ranks higher than some of the other ones. Sure. Because it has personal meaning to them. So that would be a very interesting question. You ask 10 people to make their list, you'd get 10 different lists.
Right. I've always thought too, if you're a biker or a Jeep person or whatever else, the 3 best holidays are Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day weekend. The winter holidays, you're not getting to do the thing that you love. So I think, like to your point, it ranks differently for everybody. Halloween's my least favorite because I hate dressing up. I hated trick-or-treating as a kid. And so for me, like Halloween isn't even making my list. Like it's not even top 10.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, Halloween's fun.
Really dislike Halloween. Not a fan of it.
God, you are a Scrooge.
It falls on a Tuesday. Nothing ever happens. You never know. Having to get the costume. It's just brutal. It's brutal. I really dislike Halloween.
I could see, as you were talking about the pros and cons, and you just mentioned very good. If you are a motorcycle person, the 4th of July is the best.
I could see that. Yes, that or it's Labor Day or 4th. Actually, it's probably Memorial Day. But I agree with your sentiment. I get what you're saying.
I would just think, and I'm not a motorcycle guy because I would hurt myself, and I would love to have one, but I know I would put it down. It can't be too hot to ride a motorcycle because the wind's just whipping. So, like,
it's a good question.
You're naturally cooled. I can't believe there's ever, even if it's 90 degrees or 95 degrees, and it can't be too uncomfortable to ride.
When I'm in the Jeep and I have like the doors off and the roof off, there are tipping points where, like, if it's like 75 or below and the sun is gone, it is cold. Like, it is freezing going down the road or on the highway. The other way, like, when it gets up to the high 90s, it's just hot air hitting you.
Really?
And you can't escape it. Now, with a bike, I don't know, because most bikers, they long sleeve, like, different people wear different things when they're biking or they're Jeeping. But I just know for me, Jeep-wise, like once it gets over 95, I kind of leave the roof on. Maybe I take the doors off just for fun, but there is like a tipping point where it's just hot air flowing in.
Yeah, I'd have to ask biker guys that I know that I wouldn't have thought there was, especially here. Now, maybe in Arizona where it's 115. I would have thought here that it doesn't get too hot, but maybe it does.
Or I'm a baby. I don't know.
That could be too.
That's very possible.
You're scared of Halloween, so obviously.
It's very, very possible. Do you want to spin the wheel, or you want to talk about chess?
How much time do we babble?
We're fine.
Let's babble about chess. Some kid.
Yeah, this is pretty neat because I saw this too, but I didn't read it. Did you actually read it?
I read it.
Okay, let's hear it.
He's got some foreign name, but he's from New Jersey.
Okay.
So he's an American kid, but he's of I don't know where his heritage from. But he became the grandmaster, the youngest grandmaster in chess history. He's like 12 years and 7 months.
Okay.
Now, they preface this by saying when Bobby Fischer was there, they didn't have the rankings yet.
Okay.
So this is all kind of with a grain of salt.
Okay.
But still, they've been doing it since like 1970. So in the last 50 years, when they've had grandmasters, this kid's the youngest. He's from New Jersey.
Right.
So as you were going, I was going through and I was reading how there's a point system, and then after grandmaster, there's like an advanced grandmaster and an elite grandmaster and all these blah blah blah. Okay. But the kid flew all around the world. I guess he was well on pace, and then the pandemic hit, but they had to fly to places to play in these tournaments. And so I'm going to spin this into our Friday topic of where Rotten Tomatoes was wrong, and I'm going to turn this into where Rotten Tomatoes was right. Okay. And if you have never seen Searching for Bobby Fischer, I think I've asked you this before. You seen it.
Yes.
It is Rotten Tomatoes. The critics gave it 100%. The fans gave it like 86%. But it is brilliant, and it's about a kid playing chess. Every parent who has kids playing youth sports should watch this movie because it is about how the parents become overzealous, kind of try to live through the greatness of the kid. They see the brilliance of, whatever. So Searching for Bobby Fischer, it's what's his name was Nick Montana is the dad. What's her name is the mom. The kid, it's not Elijah Wood. What's the kid's name? It's a really good cast.
Yes.
What's his name is in it? Lawrence Fishburne is in it.
Okay. Well, I mean, I've seen it here. There is something about, and I don't mean to like veer this off, but I think did you watch Queen's Gambit on Netflix?
I did.
Okay.
I love Queen's Gambit.
Queen's Gambit was amazing. There is something about chess that lends itself to like the video field, that like just movies, shows, and there's a fascination behind it. But I can't, like, a lot of times when we talk about this stuff, I'll say like, this is what I think it is, or I cannot figure out what it is about chess that just works so well in film. Because there's very few things like chess that are as successful over and over again in movies and shows.
That's a good.
And I don't know if it's like the logical, like I don't know if it's like the thought behind it, the competitiveness behind it, there's like an intensity to it where like the silence almost brings a depth in a way. I don't know what it is, and I cannot put my finger on it. But I was talking with a friend about Queen's Gambit, and we were trying to figure out what it is, and we could not come up with the answer.
Well, Queen's Gambit, I thought one of the brilliant things was that there were so many characters that came in and went out and came back. And I thought they brilliantly interwove the people back into it. One of the things, as you were just talking, and this is my first idea that I'll spitball, one of the reasons that men love watching sports on television is because we all played sports, maybe not that sport,
right?
But we played sports,
yes.
So we get it and we can do it, yes. But we can't do it like them.
Okay.
And so when we're watching chess, I can play chess. I know the rules.
That's a great point.
You can play chess, but we know that these people, the pieces are the same, the board's the same, but I can't do it like they can do it.
So to your idea, almost like heist movies, chess movies, the idea behind it is they are seeing things that we cannot see. We can see the board, we can see the vault, we can see whatever it is, but we can't break the vault.
I can't do it, but they can.
That's a good point. And that makes sense if you go through different genres like heist movies and different things. Because people love heist movies, and I think that plays along with that. Like you and I could see a vault, but like we couldn't ever crack a vault.
No.
So I agree with you. That's
And
legit.
I think as you talked about the silence,
Yes.
there's a pace to chess where you don't have to move yet. You still don't have to move. You still don't.
So you're building up the momentum of the.
And people are just,
points.
And then if searching for Bobby Fischer, when he gets, don't move until you see it. Don't move until you see it. It's that good. So
check it out if you've never seen it.
So Grandmaster at 12 years, 7 months. They said he started playing at 2.5.
Pretty.
So there you go. When you have a kid, start playing, boy or girl, because Queen's Gambit showed could be a girl. Before 2.5, you want to get this kid started if you want them to be the youngest Grandmaster ever.
I didn't speak until I was like 4, so that's probably not. It's probably something my kids won't have to worry about. Lisa's going to get us started. Best summer movie you have to watch over and over. All-star. She goes with Jaws. Great one. Let's do this, because I think this is an easier way to answer it. When you think of summer movie, what are the ones that jump out to you? Because I have one that when I think of summer, that is the movie.
See, it's hard not to think of Jaws.
Yes, that's one for sure. Lisa nailed that.
My first thought, and it's funny, and I'll go off on a little tangent here. I was going to throw in a movie last night, and just to kind of watch an hour of it and go to bed, and Jaws almost got picked.
Okay.
And then I went with another one, which will not answer this, but it falls right into it. I went with White Men Can't Jump.
Okay. So you relate that to summer then?
Because it's outside, it's hot. It's Southern California, but it's that's a summer movie. I mean, I think it's something like The Sandlot or Stand By Me.
You took the words out of my mouth. So my number one would have been Sandlot. When I think of, when you say to me, what is a summer movie? Sandlot is the first one. It's not, and I don't even know if it's my favorite summer movie, but that is the one. If it was a trivia and I had to Sandlot would be the one I would put down. That nothing says more like Americana summer than Sandlot.
Yeah, there's that, because Stand By Me, I know they're on summer break.
Yeah.
So that was one.
This one has nothing to do with summer, but it's because it kept coming out over and over again, and I was at the right age, was the Mission Impossibles. Okay. I always felt like we're summer mood. Again, nothing to do with it. And then the other one was
summer blockbuster.
Yes, and then the other one was the Pirate of the Caribbean movies, because it was every summer, clockwork. So even though they have nothing to do with summer, when I think of an air-conditioned movie theater, bucket of popcorn, soda, I always relate those franchises, like the Mission Impossible and Pirates of the Caribbean, and having.
And that's interesting, because I think the Star Wars always come out in the winter.
Yes,
I think they always come out.
Almost always.
So when you just said that, I thought, did you ever see Summer School with Harmon, Mark Harmon?
A long time ago.
A lot. I think the one girl from Melrose was in it.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was just thinking that, but there's a lot of. There's a lot of cheesy summer stuff.
Oh, so the American Pies, I would relate to summertime. I always and they're always on summer break, and so the American Pie ones, I've always related to that. But comedies, I've always related to summer.
Most comedies are.
Yeah, when I first saw Superbad, it was one of the summer movies, and I've always kind of that's a summertime thing for me.
That is, but Jaws may be the quintessential summer movie.
Yes, the beach, the ocean. You're on it. If you did a ranking,
it's over the 4th of July.
Yes. If you did a ranking and you had Jaws 1 and Sandlot 2, I don't disagree with you. I wouldn't dispute that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't dispute that at all. What about Top Gun? Even though I'm not a huge fan of it. Isn't that's a summer movie?
I would probably think. And you just get the heat. You get the.
Yeah. What about Nicola Cole says Grease? That's a good one. That's a summer movie. That's a summer movie.
That is
I know they're back in school and everything, but that's a summer movie.
That is absolutely a summer movie.
Most school movies are summer movies.
Well, there's a lot of school that we're just going back to school.
That's a good point.
Or we're on the other side, because isn't Mean Girls kind of in the spring?
Well, Mean Girls, yes, and then they go out of school. I mean, I guess in school movies, there's always the transition season to season, or graduation is the. So I don't know. I feel like most school movies become summer movies naturally.
Yeah, I kind of find. And it's funny because there's Jaws, which is not light in any way.
No.
But most of the summer movies are light and fun.
Can you think of a scary movie that's a summer? Because all those movies came out in the summer. What was it? Scream?
Scream.
See, like most, like the real, I don't want to, like, I'm not a horror movie expert at all. However, but like the real ones, like Freddy and Jason, all those were mostly October movies.
Yes.
However, like, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Scream, I think a lot of those were like June, July movies.
Well, wasn't Michael Myers with Friday the 13th, weren't those always at summer camp?
Yeah.
I thought they were all slasher summer camp movies.
So it's funny, now that we're like breaking these down, a lot of scary movies would be considered like seasonally summer movies.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know if I'd watch them during the summer, but they happen during the summer. What about, this is a sneaky one, and this is one of my family favorites.
Summer Rental.
Tekla said Great Outdoors with Dan Aykroyd and John Candy. Have you seen The Great Outdoors?
I'm sure I have.
Okay.
Is that the one where he ate the old 96?
Yes.
I've seen
that might be the most underrated summer. If we tried to think of underrated summer movies, The Great Outdoors is incredible. Incredible. When's the last time you've watched it?
It's been a long time.
You will be, because we watch it annually. Like, it's something we see. You would be amazed at how well it holds up. That's the one, yes.
The Great Outdoors.
Yes. So good. So
I just saw Summer Rental for the first time in a while. Like,
you just saw Summer Rental, you said?
Yeah. I don't know if I'd ever seen it all the way through.
No, that's a good one. Summer Rental's not bad. Let's thank Wise Markets.
Thank you to Wise Markets for sponsoring the Midday Show. I'm sure they are going to be packed all weekend. Just a Sunday, like this is going to. So go load up. Load up on everything you need, whether it's food, whether it's tiki torches, whether it's sunscreen. As Jeff said, this is the sunburn holiday of the year. Insect bug repellent, all the stuff that you can need. And you should just buy ice cream by the gallon because, like, this is the ice cream holiday too. So anything you need at Wise Markets, they are here for you today and every day in this holiday weekend. It is, maybe this is something we talk about after Spin the Wheel. It is impossible to get anything right now. Like, if you see something you like right now, just get it. Food, products, whatever it is, like retail right now, if you see it, get it, because it may not be on the shelf the next time you go to find it. It is crazy. In order to win, join the Midday Show Facebook group. Automatically entered to have a chance if we draw your name. Mark's going to spin the shiny wheel over his shoulder there. And if he's feeling lucky that day, you could win a Weiss gift card. You could win a Moon and Raven gift card. You could win an Eat and Run gift card. Or you could win the Break Room gift card to go blow off some steam this summer in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. Did I forget anyone? Nope, you got it.
Got it.
Who's our winner?
Today's random winner is Tiffany Myers. Tiffany Myers. We're going to spin the wheel for Tiff.
So Tiffany gets a T-shirt. She wins a T-shirt. And again, they're over there. I should get one. And she may win something more. Yesterday, we almost had a $100 winner. There's 100 right there. So if we end it with 100.
Let's do it.
Close. Hit it. $100. There it is.
All right.
Congratulations to Tiffany Myers. So we'll send out her a $100 gift card to Wise Markets.
Nice.
And
congrats, Tiff.
Congratulations to her. And that's a good way to get the weekend started.
Well, that's a good one.
So we had a big batch of stuff that went out the other day. So if you were a prior winner, you may be getting stuff in the mail. It went this week. So depending on how far away you are. And then we'll have another batch that will go out. I guess the post office will be closed on Monday. So I guess it'll go out Tuesday. So yeah, congratulations to Tiffany. And there we go.
Yeah. Let's go with, we already talked about Chess Kids. Do you want to talk about the NCAA for a little bit? Or do you had something funny to say?
I just wanted to mention this stupid thing about the NBA because you'll like this. Now that Chris Paul's in the finals, and a lot of people, if you don't know Chris Paul from basketball, you know him from the State Farm commercials.
Yes.
And he seems like a good guy, likable guy. He's bounced around, kind of an understated career, and this could be a shot now at NBA glory, which he's a Hall of Famer anyway.
Yes.
But this just puts him in an upper echelon. But Chris Paul's from Wake Forest, which when you think of the blue bloods of college basketball, you think of Duke, Carolina, Kentucky, Kansas, UCLA, Indiana, Michigan, he's from Wake Forest. But when you think of like schools with great alumni, Tim Duncan's also from Wake Forest.
Yes.
So when you say, like, if you're playing an all-time 2-on-2 tournament and you think you've got, Jordan and Worthy from North Carolina, you've got Wilt and whoever from Kansas, and you've got Kareem Abdul-Jabbar and whoever from UCLA, when you go through all of them, Chris Paul and Duncan from little old Wake Forest may be the best 1-2 punch that any college can bring you.
Yes, they also have the sneaky third one, and this isn't so much like Hall of Fame, but people love, like, just, you want to talk about like iconic.
Rodney Rogers, Randolph Childress,
Muggsy Bogues.
Muggsy
Bogues, the smallest player to ever play in the NBA.
5'3",
5'3", came from Wake Forest.
He was a Maryland kid, I think.
Okay, yeah, went to Wake Forest. It is, when you go through like their alumni, Jeff Teague is an all-star who's still in the league, but he was an all-star for the Hawks.
Rodney Rogers. Did I say him? Did I say Randolph Childress? Who was my joke?
Somebody who possibly could make the NBA Finals this year, John Collins, a forward for the Hawks, is from Wake Forest. It is kind of incredible how many NBA players they push out, to your point.
It's just funny when you think about, like, when you do NFL quarterbacks and you think of the great colleges, and Purdue had Bob Greasy, had Drew Brees. Those are two, like, you would have a tough time finding a college that pumped out two better guys than Bob Greasy and Drew Brees. Also, another great NBA school would be LSU, because they had Shaq and Pistol Pete.
Yeah.
And that would be a pretty tough combination in their prime.
And Ben Simmons.
Yes.
Ben Simmons.
Simmons.
Some of that stuff's tricky now because guys they're on campus for 7 months. Like, it's, they're on campus, the season ends, they leave, they don't even finish the semester anymore. It is, and not to get back in the NCAA, you and I were talking about it earlier, like, the NCAA it's wild, wild west right now.
They have opened, we were talking about this before we went on. If you weren't listening, or if you don't know, you don't follow this, they've now opened up that players can sign endorsement deals.
Yes.
And these old, and I say old because I'm sure that every person sitting in the room was 60 or older.
Yeah.
They had no idea what was coming.
None.
And the people, I can see that there were probably younger people who advised them.
Yes.
And they gave the old Heisman and said, hey, we know what we're doing. We are the intellectual elite. And now stuff is happening and they have no idea.
This is like, think of it, this isn't a fair comparison, but I think for people who don't necessarily love sports, like, this is relatable. Everything that just happened with the stock market, and you had people becoming 100,000-aires overnight, 500,000-aires, millionaires, right? Overnight, because they were allowed to do something they were never allowed to do before, right? Like, they were allowed to trade, they could get in the game, they were on their phone, it was an app, like, and all of a sudden overnight, like, the game changed without anybody being like, well, these are the rules.
Right.
And basically that's what the NCAA did without them knowing it. Because, and the reason I use that as a comparison is because this is about finances. The NCAA, without even knowing it, made millionaires overnight. Like, they probably, without knowing it, made 300 millionaires. Like, there's 300 Division I athletes that within the next 2 weeks will become millionaires.
Did you? Yes.
And so what other aspect, like, outside of the stock market and what happened in the NCAA, what they just did are two examples. Like, I can't even think of another world where somebody could make choices, create millionaires without having rules or guidelines behind it. Like, they just did it, and now there's just 20-year-old millionaires walking around Division I athletics, and no one knows how to handle it. Like, no one knows what to do.
I was thinking this as well, because we brought this up and we kind of brainstorm live, as that's a lot what we do sometimes. And so you take a school like, we'll say University of Maryland, because Under Armour was founded by a University of Maryland graduate. Yeah. It is a Maryland company.
Yeah.
So how much does a place like Under Armour now go to a kid and say, we will pay you this much if you go here?
Yeah, we hadn't thought of that the other day. It's a great question. And even further, is that bribery? Like, where, like what Joe brought up the other day, like, where is the line? Because what you just described sounds really different than what they're expecting to have happen. They're expecting sponsorships and social media deals on an individual level. Right. Meaning, like, I'm already in college, and because I play for Maryland, I will now get to make money.
Right.
And what you're describing is, I am not at Maryland yet, but people are trying to give me money to go to Maryland. Right. And What you just described to me sounds like bribery. It sounds different than what the NCAA thinks is happening.
Correct. And if you're a school like, so Maryland's in the Big Ten and you're, Penn State or whatever, but, and I'm sure Penn State has rich alum, and I'm sure, Penn State's not a great basketball school, but, you take Indiana or whatever. If you're a kid, we have Under Armour.
Yeah.
And you could even say as Under Armour, listen, if you come here, we'll give you this much. If you go there, we'll give you this much.
Right.
So now all of a sudden, the kid's making $500,000 more. And when you talk about a guy like Zion Williams, who people knew who he was coming out. He was not an unknown.
Yes.
So
before he went to Duke, he might have been the most popular basketball player in the world. He might have been more popular than LeBron when he was coming out of high school. It was that close.
So it is
the part
when you keep saying Wild Wild West, you are absolutely
right. It's insane. The part that you just said that I had never thought about is what happens to these schools that are all sponsored by Under Armour, and does Under Armour start persuading kids to go to specific Under Armour schools? And what does that mean for schools? Am I now like mad because I'm an Under Armour school, but Under Armour's pushing kids to A, B, and C, and I'm school D?
Or does Under Armour have one school per conference and Nike has one school per conference? Or do you start, it ends up being like NASCAR, that the owner owns 4 cars. Does Nike have 7 schools in the SEC? So they go to a kid that says, hey, yeah, if you go to one of these schools, you can sign with Nike. But if you want to be a Nike guy, you can't go here.
Yeah, it's going to be absolutely crazy. Because until they decide where the line actually is for bribery and what's allowed and what's accepted, there's no way. I don't want to say bad things are going to happen because kids should make this money. Like they generate it. It's the reason the NCAA has been drowning in money for the last 3 decades, 4 decades since they've really turned it over. The one part that I am negative about, truly negative, because everything else is fascinating. I'm just curious how it's going to play out. The part that I am really bummed out about is I think what you're going to see is the blue bloods. I had talked to you before. My favorite part about this, the NCAA kind of shifting, was the blue bloods were taking a step down.
Right.
And it was kind of opening the door for these other schools that if you had 4-year seniors and they played together and you could compete with the Kentuckys and the Carolinas and the Dukes. This is going to end that like that. The top tier schools that Nike or Under Armour or social media companies get behind or whatever it is, I think what you're going to end up happening is you're going to have a dozen schools that basically run shop. And the other ones are going to really struggle to compete with those 12.
Well, now, and I just thought of this while you were talking, and this may be stupid, so you can tell me if this is right or wrong. You take a guy who is a college basketball name, but maybe, and I don't know why this is the name coming to my head, but Dan Dickau is coming to my mind, who NBA career is going to be, I'll tell you another one that would have worked, Jerry McNamara.
Sure.
So now do we start having college guys who are like, I'm going to stay in college because I'm going to make more money than I can going to Europe to play. And I don't really know if I can go to the NBA and play. But in college, I am a household name and I am a superstar.
Yes. Jerry McNamara is a perfect example because Jerry McNamara for 4 years at Syracuse would have made more money than he would have his first year.
He was a cult hero.
Yeah. His senior year at Syracuse, he would have made 3 times more than what he would have made playing in the NBA if he would have left after his junior year, for sure, no doubt. So that's a very valid point. The last one to kind of wrap this one off, I would say, and I had mentioned Barstool Sports to you before. I am curious to see the strategies that schools imply and that companies imply. What Barstool Sports is going to do is they're taking any athlete that wants free merch. So if you're a college athlete, Division I, Division II, if you're a scholarship athlete and you want to be sponsored by Barstool Sports, you can go sign up, register. You're a Barstool Sports. They send you the free merch, wear them. They want you to wear it, promote it, do whatever, and you're officially a Barstool client. And what's ingenious about that is they are going to saturate the market so fast. While these other companies are the exact opposite. They want the top tier athletes or they want this and that. And Barstool was like, no, we want everybody.
We'll take them all.
We'll take them all. So you could be the 3rd string punter at Georgia State And like, you'll get the same merch that the quarterback for Iowa gets. And it doesn't matter. And that's ingenious, because now every single athlete in the nation is going to be behind Barstool Sports, and they've got their accounts, they have their emails, they've got their phone numbers, and you know what college like athletes become? They become coaches, they become managers, they become athletic directors. So it is the strategy and what companies decide to do and how they decide to do it is going to be really neat to see, because Barstool's approach is ingenious in my opinion. And I don't think anybody else thought of it. Like, I don't think anyone else thought of it in a way of like, we'll sign you for free.
Right.
Like, we'll work for you for free.
Right.
And so it's going to be neat.
My son told me this, and you would know this better than I do, that how this all got started. He said there was a kicker at like South Florida or one of the Florida schools.
I think I could be wrong. I thought it was UCF. I can look it up real quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he was doing like kicking challenges on YouTube. He had a YouTube channel and he was making money. Like, these are my kicking things and I can do blah, blah, blah. And the NCAA came to him and said, well, you can't make this money and keep your eligibility.
Yes.
And he was making buku bucks on YouTube. And he's like, why can't I make this? They said, you can't do it.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it got the ball rolling with a kicker from not a Power 5 conference, just a kicker from some school who was beating the system.
Yes. And this is why everybody hated. He's a perfect example of why everybody hates the NCAA.
Yes.
Because he is I don't want to necessarily call him an immigrant, because he is an American, but he's a Costa Rican American. He is somebody that like doesn't come from necessarily like wealth.
Right.
And here he is, like, it's not like he's the stud quarterback. Like, it's not. And this dude,
it's hard when you're picking on the kicker. You're not a very nice person.
This is somebody who, this might be, when he was kicking at UCF and doing these YouTube videos, it might have been his shot. Like, it might have been his only chance at creating a real business, company, job, wealth, whatever you want to call it. And the NCAA comes in. And by the way, he's not hurting anybody.
Nobody.
He's not defaming the NCAA. He's not like giving them a bad name. Nothing. And the NCAA comes in and says, you can't make that money. And that's absurd. And that's why everybody has hated them for so long. And it's a little bit, not to ramble, it's a little bit like I said to you about the NFL with the pride, and it feels disingenuous. As excited as I am that this has finally happened, even this feels disingenuous. I still don't think the NCAA agrees or wanted to do this. Like, they don't deserve a pat on the back. They don't deserve to be like, oh, good for them or whatever. They are only doing this because it has literally gotten to the point where they have no other choice.
Yes, the NCAA has become the one that everyone hates.
Yes.
It's the kid in high school that goes out for the team who he hates the coach, and everyone hates the coach, but if they want to play, they have to play for that coach.
Yes.
And so, nobody's applauding the NCAA.
No.
Nobody thinks they're forward thinkers. They're just, they're a bunch of entitled, rich, stuffy people who just, again, go to show that they have no idea. Like, it's just, this is moving too fast for them and they can't keep up.
No, they cannot. Holiday weekend plans. I'm not watching fireworks. Are you watching fireworks?
I might. I doubt it. I mean, I'm not going anywhere to watch them.
Yeah.
Like,
they might just end up in your backyard.
Sometimes if you go out in the yard, you can see them depending on where you look.
You can check them out.
No, I have very little. My son's off from baseball this weekend. We don't have a tournament.
Your kids are also at that age where they don't need you for the 4th of July.
They don't need me for much.
That's what I mean. Yeah,
No.
but that's what I mean. Like, it's not like they want to go see something and dad needs to take them or mom needs to take them.
No, I just texted my oldest. I was like, hey, what's your work schedule this weekend? She gave me the work schedule. She said, oh, I'm sorry if I just ruined any plans. And I said, no, I didn't make any plans yet. I wondered if we should. And she's like, probably not. I'm working all weekend.
There you go.
So, yeah, I don't know. I'm at the point, and this is how old I am now. Again, we do a lot of traveling for my son playing baseball and just running around to other activities. When I get a quiet weekend at home, I'm not going to shed any tears about having a quiet weekend at home. I don't think I have any plans for the weekend. I have some work stuff we have to do around here and, with real estate. But other than that, I will be very calm and peaceful sitting on the back deck and doing a whole lot of nothing.
Good for you. Look at you.
That's what happened. See, like 15 years from now, when you're old like me, you'll be like, God, I remember when Mark used to look forward to this stuff.
Yeah, well, the problem is that, like, if I end up having kids, I will probably be racing around like a madman like 10, 15 years from now.
No, you'll have your wife do it, and you'll be sitting on the deck doing it. No,
you think so?
It depends. It depends where you're racing.
You think so?
It depends. Yeah, I've ended up being the Uber driver, but now I'm to the point where 2 of my kids can drive. So it's that is a scare. And then we'll talk about. We could have a psychological discussion about that too with all parents who have gone through it. Yeah. That is the greatest yet scariest moment in an adult's life when their kid can drive. Because it alleviates so much pressure from you. Yeah. But you also realize when we were 16, none of us really knew how to drive. Sure. And like how it's scary. Watching your kid drive away for the first time without you is a scary, scary moment.
I can 100% believe that. I thought of this too as we were talking. What was the movie of last summer?
There weren't any.
There was. And when I say it, you're going to be like, that makes perfect sense. The movie of the summer last summer.
I don't even know again.
Hamilton.
Oh, you are right.
That was the movie of the summer last
I remember that was all the like.
It was everywhere.
That's very true.
Yeah, so that was the movie of the summer. And I do think like I relate Hamilton now to the summer. Like I do because we got together and we watched it on the projector and like So I do. It's funny how I relate that now to like the summertime.
No, I agree with that. That's very. No. That is very good point.
Well, thank you guys for hanging out with us. Sorry we were late today. But I think I like doing this because I think sometimes we get some different people. Like I think it's different viewers and different people getting a chance to see it on their feed. Maybe I could be wrong.
Our success has been better later in the afternoon than earlier in the morning. We found that out.
Yes, we found that out the hard way.
And what that means is people go to work in the morning and actually try. And then after lunch, they begin to phone it in.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. No, they're at that point in the afternoon, you are looking for distractions. you are trying to find something that you can do.
What are you doing this weekend?
What am I doing this weekend? I will be up north for some of it. And then I will be back down here Sunday evening. I think we're doing kind of like a little like cookout, nothing big, just like a little cookout thing. The weird part is having it on a Sunday because it's supposed to be observed on Monday, but most companies and most people I've talked to gave off Friday. They gave off today. They didn't give off Monday, even though the calendar says Monday is the observance.
Because like banks and post offices are closed Monday.
Yes. So it's a weird thing where like everyone's gonna do it Sunday, but most people had off today. So I don't really know. It's weird. It's weird.
And I would think historically, if you've been a business owner or something for a long time, that depending on, because even though the 4th is Sunday, the party is going to start tonight.
Yeah, I bet you the party started last night.
Could be. So by Monday, people are going to be ready to get back to normalcy. Yeah. As opposed to if they would have made people work through Friday, I would bet Monday's much more productive. The 5th would be much more productive than the 2nd. Well, because on Friday before the holiday. From a mental standpoint,
yes. 100% agree with you. We were at, I had to go to Mifflinburg last night because I had to get suited for like a tux for a wedding. Is it suited, sized, however you want to say it?
Either one. Yeah.
On the way back from Mifflinburg, we went to Basel and Muncie.
Okay.
And it was, Thursday night, 6:30-ish, everything else. Listen, I didn't think that it would be empty. It was packed. So I think Thursday night, and again, it never dawned on me.
Yeah, you're right. People quit already.
Last night was pretty crazy. And Basel was, have you ever been there? I mean, I don't do a lot of plugs on here, like actual like local plugs. Basel was good last night. Really good in Muncie, Pennsylvania. Really, really good.
No, I've never been.
Yeah. So if you've never been to Basel, check it out. It was delicious. All right. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you guys for waiting. Thank you to Weis Markets for being our title sponsor. Be sure to go there for all your grocery needs. And be sure to check out NorthcentralPa.com for all your local news.
Hopefully Montreal can get one tonight and get back in the playoffs because they're down.
Go Habs.
They're down 2-0.
Go Habs.
They're underdogs at home. Like nobody believed them going into the series. It's even worse. Oh, Canada. heading in. And they were even respectful. They're not playing on the 4th of July. They're waiting to play the next game on the 5th of July. They skipped it. So, like, I just won. Just get tonight and get back in the game.
Did it sound like I knew what I was doing?
You did. You sounded very good. And your Hawks, Bucks, I mean, injuries all over the place. You think the Hawks are dead in the water?
I don't think that the Hawks are dead in the water. Obviously, the Bucks have a better shot now. I just think Phoenix, not to toot my own horn, I've been telling you very early on, like, Phoenix could do it.
You said.
And that was even before, like,
Anthony, that was like in March. You said Phoenix is really good.
I was kind of like, I think Phoenix can pull it off. And that was before I knew they had to play the Lakers and before the injury. They're good. They shoot it well. And the other thing, too, they're not great defensively, but everybody tries. Like, there's not one dude on Phoenix that is not giving 100% on defense. It is.
No, you said a long time ago, you said Phoenix is really good. I said at what? And you said no basketball. They're good. They're really good.
They're going to be really, really good. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Jeff Edvert. He's Mark Messina, and we will see you next week.
Have a good one.